This month's RV newscast will cover the latest RV and travel data news. We had an interesting month since our last newscast, with a huge outpouring of comments about the topics we covered. It turns out that many people feel frustrated about their RVs and the RV industry. We'll also talk about Jayco's recent press release and Starlink's new service. There's a lot to cover. I'm John Marucci. Let's get started with the news. First up, let's dig into the data like we do on most shows. As a reminder, we pull data daily, weekly, and monthly from various sources to bring you the latest picture of where things are in terms of RV production, sales, and quality. We do this so that you can know if it's a good time to buy, sell, or hold onto your RV. Let's start with the latest TSA air passenger travel numbers. We haven't looked at this in several months, as air travel has stabilized since last spring. The chart shows 2022 daily passenger volume versus 2019 same day. Data is directly from the TSA. It is easy to see this chart as a pandemic indicator, meaning if the ratio is higher, more people are willing to travel in a very small enclosed space with strangers. 2019 is used as the last normal year as a reference. Interestingly, the ratio started 2022 at about 80%, and by mid-March hit and stayed about the 90% rate until about the end of August. Since then, the average is closer to 95%, meaning we've regained about 95% of 2019 volume since the fall. I think it may be safe to say that most air travel volume has recovered, except possibly some business travel that may or may not fully bounce back. My take is that this may mean fewer people opting into the RV lifestyle going forward. Much of the increased demand for RVs and subsequent space issues at campgrounds was likely a short-term phenomenon. Some tried out RVing during the pandemic as a travel substitute, while others tried out RVing and will continue to do so. Others have been inoculated by the RV experience and RV ownership and will go back to their previous ways of traveling. The RVIA posted the latest RV shipment data for October 2022, and the numbers are still falling short of the prior 6 years for the same month. 32,652 total RVs were shipped in October, compared to the record of 57,971 of October 2021, down 44% year over year. Travel trailers witnessed the most significant decline, with only 21,036 shipped in October versus 40,317 a year ago, a 48% decline. It was by far the worst October for towable trailer shipments in over 6 years. Meanwhile, new and used RVs for sale on RVtrader.com continue to remain stubbornly high as expected. There were 154,067 new units for sale as of November 23rd. This is up from October's 153,993 units a month ago, which continues to be very high for this time of year. While new units for sale are staying high, used units are down very slightly from last month at 51,559. This is now the 9th month in a row with used for sale units at greater than 50,000. This time last year, the number of used RVs for sale was roughly 48,000. Meanwhile, manufacturing employment levels in Elkhart County, Indiana have stayed steady, even with the pullback in shipment volumes, which seems counterintuitive. There were 76,400 people employed in manufacturing in October, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is down from 77,400 in August 2022 and a record 79,200 in June of 2022, yet staying fairly steady for the past 2 months. This gives Elkhart an unemployment rate of 2.6% for October, up from 2% in September. I must admit to not fully understanding how the employment levels in manufacturing are staying elevated, given the big pullback in RV production. It is possible that manufacturers are keeping employees partially or somewhat inactively employed just in case production picks back up. If you work in the industry and are willing to share any insights here, feel free to comment below the video. Let's again peer into the high-end RV market. For well over a year, we have taken a weekly snapshot of inventory levels at Colonial Airstream in Millstone Township, New Jersey. They are one of the largest Airstream dealers nationwide. Until recently, 60+% of Colonial's inventory was pre-orders. This is now near 40%. You'll notice the significant uptick in the number of units available versus pre-ordered of late, as the dealership is apparently slowing orders. All this is to say that the same factors influencing the low and middle markets are now beginning to affect those with more resources. Some good news on gas prices. According to AAA, prices have begun to fall over the past month, which is a welcome relief to all those about to or who are now snowbirding with their RVs. The current average nationwide price as of November 29th was $3.52.1 per gallon for regular unleaded, down about 24 cents from a month ago, and up only about 13 cents per gallon from a year ago. Texas is the only state with an average price below $3 per gallon, while Hawaii has the highest price at just under $5.20 per gallon. An RV trip of 3,000 miles at 10 miles per gallon would cost $1,056 now versus $1,018 a year ago, about a 3.7% increase year over year. Diesel sits at $5.19.9 today, down about 11 cents from a month ago, yet up about $1.56 from a year ago. A similar 3,000-mile trip getting 15 miles per gallon would cost $1,040 now versus $7.28 a year ago, a 43% increase. In RV quality news, on November 28th, Jayco announced that their new 70,000 square foot pre-delivery inspection facility was up and running as of November 25th, which according to the Jayco press release, quote, allows for 100% of all Jayco, Integra Coach, Starcraft RV, and Highland Ridge RV products to be PDI'd before being shipped to a dealer. The Jayco PDI began in January of 2019, and by January 2022, 55% of all units were being PDI'd, including 100% of all motorized units and units produced in the Idaho and Shipshewana manufacturing facilities. Once the new Southridge facility is fully running, all lines on November 24th, 100% of all units for all Jayco brands will be PDI'd before being shipped to dealers, unquote. Hopefully you caught this, that as of this past January, close to 45% of units being sent to dealers were not being PDI'd. This points to the potential quality issues we have been talking about lately in the RV industry as a whole. Hopefully, all manufacturers will be challenged by Jayco's new commitment to pre-delivery inspections. On November 21st, SpaceX announced that Starlink high-speed satellite internet service is now available in Alaska and Canada, as well as other northern latitude nations like Finland, Norway, and Sweden. This should be a game changer for our remote neighbors to the north and those who would like to visit these areas and work remotely but have been prevented from doing so for lack of connectivity. If you live in these areas or are visiting and have this service turned on, please let me know in the comments how it is working for you. Last month's newscast caused a stir in the RV community and broke a record for us in terms of the number of views and comments in such a short time. A number of our viewers commented on their experience with the quality of a recent RV purchase, and the general tone was one of dissatisfaction. Here are a few examples. John M. writes, having bought travel trailers since 1988, I can say that there's a huge difference in quality since 2008. Before the conglomerates bought up all the RV manufacturers, they cared about quality because there were so many manufacturers they had to compete at the quality level. Now with a few large companies supplying the majority of travel trailers, and parts for that matter, the quality is terrible because there really isn't competition. I highly recommend an independent inspection on any new or used unit now. Toby D. writes, I've been researching as well as shopping for an RV for the last 3 years. My research is exactly what you're stating here. I retired in May of 2021. I had started shopping online for an RV in 2019, knowing I was going to be retiring in a couple of years. when the pandemic hit in 2020 and you couldn't get on a cruise ship, couldn't go to a theme park, and were less likely to get on a plane, people decided they could get an RV and go camping. Obviously, with the demand, prices began to soar, and quality of RVs went down due to this high demand. I've seen prices on certain models I was looking at in 2019 go up 50% in 2021 and 2022. Therefore, I've held off on any purchase and plan to wait until prices and quality change for the better. Gas prices have to come down. Also, costs to stay in a campground have risen tremendously. Right now, I'm better off staying in hotels and building points for free nights. I appreciate your videos. Matt P. writes, my family has been camping out of RVs since I was a kid. I lived in a fifth wheel all the way through college to save money. I still own a 1960 Shasta that my grandfather bought brand new. I have a 1988 Vacationeer fifth wheel, a 1998 Teton Homes fifth wheel, and a 1997 Lance cabover camper. I can tell you that the level of quality in those older units is by far better than anything I've seen in the new market for at least 10 years. My fifth wheels are better built, more durable, and of much higher overall quality than anything anywhere I have seen. All of my units are paid for, and I have learned to repair them. The only unpredictable part for me is the price of fuel. To anybody looking at getting an RV for the first time, I suggest buying a high-quality, older unit for cash. I did have a former RV worker confront me about the video content. They said, maybe you think it would be better to shut everything down. You are listening to only one side. Anyone who is building them and says he would never buy one is obviously not a good quality worker. I worked in RVs for about 18 years, and we took a great satisfaction in building quality units. They are basically a house on wheels and need to be as light yet strong as possible, and yet affordable, so they do the best they can. In response, I replied, I think manufacturers need to allow workers to go slower so things are not missed and fewer mistakes are made. Changing from piecework to hourly rates would likely slow things down and allow for more time and care to be put in each unit. I have seen people running in factories building RVs, which to me says speed is the most important thing to the owners. I do think the industry pushed to build 600,000 units in 2021, and to do so meant hiring many people who may not have been as diligent or as skilled as you and your coworkers were at the time you worked. Most RV owners will concur that units built before the pandemic were better quality, and I think it is proving true. With that, I think we'll wrap things up for this newscast. For those of you who put off RVing due to high gas prices, things are certainly getting better and are not much different than traveling a year ago. This is good news for our viewers who plan to snowbird shortly. Okay, that'll do it for this month's RV newscast. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these topics. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. This is John Marucci, and so long for now.